Hello and welcome back to Dr. Logic Awkwardly Does Logic in her office. Today I want to talk about why toddlers make the best logicians, or, in other words, negation. No, no, no! Every toddler's favorite word. Negation is one of the 4 logical operations that we will look at and discuss when we develop propositional logic. The other ones, conjunction, disjunction, and implication, I'll talk about in a future video. Negation turns up in the English language in a variety of contexts, not just young children being contrary. The most common way to introduce a negation into a sentence is to just use not. So, it's raining, it's not raining. It's light out, it's not light out. One of these is the negation of the other. You can also kind of do it in this sort of artificial fashion and say, okay, here is a sentence. Today is, what day of the week is it? Today is Tuesday. Or you could kind of treat not as this weird little thing that comes in front of the sentence and says, not today is Tuesday. So that's a slightly artificial way of introducing a negation, but it works. There are other kind of more complicated ways that you can negate something. These are things that philosophers like to use, such as, it is not the case that, or it is false that. You could even say, it is not true that, if you think that falsity and truth kind of link together as the negations of each other. But there's another way that you can also kind of smuggle negation into your English language sentences, and that's with the prefix non. So I can say something about animals, but I can also talk about non-animals, and that is a negation. It's not exactly the same type of negation as the one that says not an animal. You might think that it's one thing to say something is a non-animal. You're maybe saying something positive about it, versus saying that that thing is not an animal. If we were talking in the context of the syllogistic, I would say that my cat is this cup is a non-animal, is an I claim. It's saying something affirmative, whereas this cup is not an animal would be an O claim, saying something negative. But we're not doing syllogistics now, we're doing propositional logic. So the idea is, when we are trying to find negation out in the wild in English prose, look for negative particles. Not, non. You might even also find like un and im. So like possible, impossible. It's the same as saying possible, not possible. But primarily, the types of negation that we will see and use the most are going to be the ones that are quite explicit. Not, it's contraction, NT, and the more verbose phrasal versions, it is not the case that, it is false that. So there you have it, a very brief overview to negation in the English language out in the wild. We will come back to this when we start talking about how to move from English into a propositional language, but we'll save that for another video. Next time, we will talk about conjunction. See you then. Cheers.